It's 92 degrees outside. Your air conditioner had been running for 9 days straight. And behind the headboard in the back bedroom, in the corner where the wall meets the floor, something dark has started spreading across the plaster. You wiped it off last month. You sprayed it with bleach. It looked clean for about 2 weeks. And now it's back, bigger than before. If that sounds like your house, I want you to hear this clearly before we go any further. The reason that mold keeps returning is not that you didn't scrub hard enough. It's that the thing almost everyone reaches for first, the thing sitting under your kitchen sink right now, was never going to kill it in the first place. 100 years ago, farm families dealt with this exact problem in old timber houses that breathed a lot more moisture than yours does. They didn't have a remediation company to call. They had about $4 of a white mineral powder and a way of thinking about damp walls that we've mostly forgotten. And it worked. Their houses lasted a century. But before you go pour anything on that wall, there's one part of this that matters more than the powder, more than any spray, and getting it wrong is the single reason mold comes back every single time. I'll get to it. Stay with me, because if you skip it, you'll be right back here next summer. Let's start with the honest part. Bleach, the Environmental Protection Agency, actually addresses this directly in their own guidance on mold cleanup, and what they say surprises most people. Bleach is mostly water. When you spray it on a porous surface, drywall, bare wood, plaster, the chlorine sits on the surface and lifts the colour out of the mold. The stain fades. It looks gone. But mold on a porous surface doesn't just sit on top. It sends root-like threads down into the material, and the chlorine can't follow them there. The water in the bleach can, though, and mold loves water. So you haven't killed it. You've bleached it pale, and you've fed it. 2 weeks later, it grows back through the same roots, and now you're convinced the mold is winning. It isn't. You just brought a surface cleaner to a root problem. That's the first thing the old method got right. Now let me show you the rest. To understand why a farmhouse from the 1800s could sit in a humid river valley for 150 years without rotting from the inside, you have to understand one thing about how those houses were built. They breathed. Old walls were made of materials that let moisture pass through them and dry out. Lime plaster, solid timber, horsehair and mortar. When damp got into a wall, it could move and it could leave. The wall dried itself. Builders back then didn't have a word for it, but they were working with the same principle building scientists confirm today. A wall that can dry will not stay wet long enough to grow mold. Your house is different, and it's not your fault. Modern homes are sealed tight for energy efficiency. Vinyl, foam, plastic vapor barriers, paint that locks moisture in. That's wonderful for your power bill, but it means when water gets into a wall from a leak, from humidity, from your air conditioner, it has nowhere to go. It sits, and anything that sits wet for more than a day or two starts growing. So the old farmers had two advantages we lost. Their walls dried faster, and they treated the surfaces with something that made it genuinely hard for mold to take hold in the first place. That something is the powder I mentioned. Let me tell you what it actually is, because there's no mystery to it and no conspiracy. It's borax. Sodium borate, the same mineral that's been sold in the laundry aisle for over a century. Here's why it works where bleach doesn't. Borax doesn't just bleach the color out, it raises the pH of the surface to a level mold cannot tolerate, and it stays there. Bleach evaporates and leaves water behind. Borax dries into the surface and leaves an environment behind, an alkaline layer where spores struggle to germinate. University Extension Services have tested this directly. It's cheap, it's stable, And unlike bleach, it keeps working after it dries. Now, I want to be straight with you about something because this channel doesn't do miracle cures. Borax is not magic. It will not fix a plumbing leak. It will not dry out a flooded crawl space. If you have water actively coming in, no powder on earth will save that wall. What borax does is win the surface battle honestly, so that when you fix the real problem, the mold doesn't come back. And that real problem, the thing that decides whether any of this lasts, is coming up. Because here's what I promised you at the start. There's one step that matters more than the borax, and most people skip it entirely. They kill the mold they can see, feel good for a month, and then it returns, and they blame the borax. It wasn't the borax, it was the step after. I'll show you exactly what it is in just a minute. But first you need to see how the kill is actually done. Because if you do this part wrong, you'll drive the spores deeper. Let's do the kill properly. This is the part you can start this weekend, and everything you need costs about $4. You'll want 3 things: a box of borax, warm water, and a spray bottle or a bucket and a brush, depending on how big the patch is. You'll also want gloves, an N95 mask, and an open window, and I'll come back to why that safety piece is not optional. Start with the mix. The ratio that works is roughly 1 cup of borax to 1 gallon of warm water. Stir it until it dissolves as much as it's going to. It won't all dissolve, and that's fine. The undissolved grit is actually useful on tougher patches. Before you apply anything, do not wet wipe a dry moldy wall first. Dry mold, when you disturb it wet, releases a cloud of spores into the air. That's how mold that was in one corner ends up in 3 rooms. This is where most people make it worse. If the patch is dry and powdery, mist it lightly first to hold the spores down, then work. Now apply the borax solution generously. Really soak the area. If it's a hard surface like tile or sealed wood, you can scrub gently after it sits a few minutes. If it's a porous surface, drywall, bare wood, plaster, this is the key difference from bleach. Do not rinse it off afterward. You want the borax to soak in and dry in place. That dried mineral layer is your protection. Rinsing it away throws out the whole point. For hard, non-porous surfaces where the stain is stubborn, plain white vinegar is a useful partner. Vinegar is a mild acid, and on non-porous surfaces it can penetrate the mold's structure in a way water-based cleaners don't. A lot of the old cleaning wisdom paired the two. Vinegar first on the hard surfaces to break it down, borax to hold the ground afterward. Do not mix them into the same bottle though. Use them as separate steps and never ever mix bleach with either of them or with anything else. Mixing cleaning chemicals is how people end up in the emergency room, and I mean that literally. Let the treated area dry completely, not touch dry. Fully dry, which can take a day. As it dries, you'll see the dark staining lift and fade. On drywall and old plaster, some staining may remain even after the mold is dead because the pigment soaked into the material. That's cosmetic. Dead mold that stained the surface is not the same as living mold, and you can prime and paint over it later with a breathable primer once you're sure it's dead and dry. That's the kill. If you stopped right here, you'd be exactly like everyone else who sprays something on the wall and hopes. Your patch would look great for a month or 2, and then, if you haven't done the next part, it would come back because you treated the symptom and left the cause completely untouched. So let's talk about the cause. This is the part I've been promising you, and it's the part that actually decides whether you ever see this mold again. We are about halfway through, and this is the most important 90 seconds of the whole video, so stay with me. Everything up to now, the borax, the vinegar, the scrubbing, that's treatment. Here's the cause. Mold is not really a wall problem. It is a water problem wearing a wall costume. Mold needs three things to grow: something to eat, warmth, and moisture. You can't remove the food, your house is made of it. You can't remove the warmth, you live there. Moisture is the only lever you actually control. Take away the moisture and the mold simply cannot grow, no matter what your walls are made of. And in a modern, sealed, air-conditioned house in summer, I can tell you exactly where that moisture is coming from, because it's the same culprit in almost every home I hear about. It's the thing you've had running for 9 days straight to stay cool. Your AIR conditioner. That surprises people because we think of the air conditioner as the thing that dries the air out. It does. But it's also, in 3 specific places, the single biggest mold factory in your house. And you're running it right now in the middle of the exact season when it does the most damage. Let me show you those 3 places, because once you see them, you can't unsee them. And fixing them is what makes the borax you just applied actually last. Here are the 3 places your air conditioner is feeding mold, and what the moisture first thinking tells us to do about each one. First, the condensation on the cold surfaces. When cold air from a vent hits a warmer wall or window, water condenses right there, the same way a glass of iced tea sweats on a summer day. That damp patch on the wall near a vent, or the black speckling around a window frame, isn't a leak. It's condensation, and it's continuous all summer. The old fix and the modern fix agree here. Keep the air moving. Stagnant, humid air against a cold surface is what grows mold. A wall that gets airflow stays dry. This is why farmhouses had cross breezes, and why simply pulling furniture a few inches off exterior walls so air can move behind it prevents more bedroom mold than any spray. Second, and this is the big one, the drip pan and drain line inside your air conditioner. Your air conditioner pulls gallons of water out of the air. That water collects in a pan and drains out through a line. That pan sits in the dark, warm and wet all season. It is a perfect mold nursery, and the air handler then blows air right across it and into every room. If your whole house smells faintly musty even after you've cleaned the walls, this is very often why. You can pour a cup of plain white vinegar down the drain line every month during cooling season to keep that line clear and discourage growth. Third, humidity itself, the raw number. Mold needs the air to stay above about 60% relative humidity to thrive. Below 50%, it struggles badly. A cheap humidity meter, they're a few dollars, tells you instantly whether your house is in the danger zone. If it reads high, a dehumidifier in the worst room emptied regularly does more to stop mold permanently than anything you'll spray on a wall. The farmers controlled humidity with ventilation and thermal mass because they had no choice. You have a machine that can do it at the flip of a switch. Most people just never check the number. So here is the whole method, honestly, start to finish. You kill what's there with borax, soaked in and left to dry, not rinsed. You use vinegar on the hard surfaces, and then the part that actually matters, you go find the water. The airflow behind your furniture, the drip pan in your AC, and the humidity number in your worst room. Fix the water and the mold has nothing to grow on. Skip the water and I promise you'll be back here next July. And now the part I've been holding since the very beginning, the one step above all others. If you only remember one sentence from this entire video, make it this one. The mold you can see is never the whole problem. The mold you can't see inside the wall behind the vent in the pan is what brings the visible patch back. Treating only what's visible is why it always returns, which raises an obvious and slightly uncomfortable question. How do you find the mold you can't see? Because there are a few specific hiding spots, and one of them is somewhere almost nobody thinks to look. Let me show you where. The hidden spots quickly, because knowing where to look is half the battle. Behind furniture on exterior walls we covered, under sinks where slow drips feed the cabinet floor, around window frames, especially north-facing ones that stay cold. Inside the air conditioning system, the pan and ducts, and the one almost nobody checks, the attic. In summer, a hot attic with poor ventilation traps humid air against the underside of the roof, and mold blooms across the sheathing right over your head where you never see it. If you have a musty smell you can't source, go look in the attic with a flashlight before you do anything else. Now the honest limits, because this is where I part ways with the channels that promise a miracle. Borax and moisture control handle ordinary household mold on ordinary surfaces. But there's a line where do-it-yourself stops being smart. The EPA's general guidance is that if the moldy area is bigger than roughly 10 square feet, about a 3-foot by 3-foot patch, you should bring in a professional. That's not them selling you something. That's the point where the spore load in the air becomes genuinely hard to manage safely yourself. Same goes if the mold is in your heating and cooling ducts, if it keeps coming back after you've genuinely fixed the moisture, or if anyone in the house has asthma, a compromised immune system, or unexplained breathing trouble. Mold and health is real, and I'm not qualified to advise on it, and neither is anyone else on YouTube. That's a doctor's conversation. And the safety piece I promised: always wear an N95 mask and gloves, always open a window and get airflow, never dry scrape mold, missed it first, and never combine cleaning products. Those 4 rules are not fine print. Disturbing mold badly is worse than leaving it alone, so if you do this, do it protected. That's the complete, honest picture. Now let me tell you the one thing that ties all of it together and where you can get the rest of it written down. Here's the thread through everything we covered today. Mold isn't a cleaning problem, it's a moisture problem, and moisture is a building problem, and the old houses solved it by working with how a building breathes instead of against it. Borax kills what's there. Controlling the water is what keeps it gone. That idea, working with how a house handles heat, air, and moisture instead of fighting it, is the whole reason this channel exists. If you want to go deeper on the moisture and airflow side of an old house, how humidity, ventilation, and thermal mass actually work together to keep a home comfortable, that's exactly what the Passive Cooling Vault lays out over at oldwaysrestored.com. Same honest building science, no miracle products, just the physics the old builders knew, written down so you can work through your own house one room at a time. The link's in the description. But even if you never go to oldwaysrestored.com, you now know more about why mold comes back than most contractors will tell you on a first visit. Bleach feeds it. Borax holds the ground. And the real fix was never the powder at all. It was finding the water. So here's what I do this week. Walk your house once. Slowly. Look behind the furniture on the outside walls. Feel near the vents for damp. Pull the cover and look at your air conditioner's drip pan. And pick up a $3 humidity meter for the worst room. Find the water first. Then and only then, mix your borax. And if you want to see where this whole way of thinking started, watch the video that built this channel. The $300 earth tube, a simple buried pipe that cools a house to 55 degrees using nothing but the ground. It's the same idea as today, working with a house instead of against it. I'll put it right here on your screen. Take care of the water and the house will take care of itself.